Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Auchentoshan Three Wood. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of Auchentoshan Three Wood. Auchentoshan is a Scotch whisky distillery not too far from Glasgow. It's a triple distilled single malt whisky, and Three Wood refers to it being aged in ex-bourbon, ex-Oloroso sherry and Pedro Jimenez sherry butts. The whisky itself is coloured, it says so on the bottle, and it's also bottled at 43%. If you've seen my previous review of Auchentoshan American Oak, I'll put a link up there if you haven't seen it, you'll remember that I was a bit disappointed by the only Auchentoshan I'd tried. It was a bit of a letdown. So hopefully the influence of three different barrels will make this one a little bit more interesting. Shall we find out? On to the whisky. Right, so after my recent review of the American Oak Auchentoshan, I went out and bought this sample specifically because I was hoping that Auchentoshan could deliver more than the American Oak did. And I wasn't prepared to buy a whole bottle. So what you will notice first is that it's an incredibly dark whisky, but as it does actually say that it's got caramel colouring on the box, it's obviously a little artificial. Let's hope the rest of the whisky isn't. Let's find out what it's like on the nose. Okay, so there's a strong sherry smell. Getting sort of tannic, dry sherry note. There's a little bit of alcohol vapour. There's a little bit of meatiness in there, like smoked meat. It's very sweet, lots of vanilla, bit of citrus, dark fruits. It's a little bit like mince pies. It's not unpleasant on the nose, but it's completely different to what I expected. It definitely has like a beefiness or a meatiness to it, and that's quite apparent. But yeah, it's not unpleasant. Should we find out what it's like on the palate? Okay, so it's very light to start with, and then you get very strong sort of sherry note, that sweet, not overly dry sherry note, which I think is balanced quite well because of the Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez. You get the sweetness of one and the dryness of another. I think that balances quite well, but that meatiness is there, but it's more of a peat smoke sort of tone than a sort of smoked meat flavour on the palate. Let's try this a second time. Yeah, it definitely comes across as a peatiness. A little bit salty. The tannic nature from the sherry is very light, but it is present. There's not much of a dryness on the finish though, and there's very little spice. It's a very soft whiskey with only the tiniest amount of pepper. So how does this compare to the only other Auchentoshan I've tried? Well, the American oak was just average. It was a letdown, but I suppose that's only a £20 bottle of whiskey most of the time in supermarkets. This is pretty much double that price, and that's obviously due to the fact that it's aged in sherry butts, which obviously cost a lot of money. It's a much nicer dram. I'm much more impressed by this. I definitely wouldn't mind giving some more Auchentoshan a try, but I'm glad I've tried this, but I probably won't be rushing out to buy a bottle. But it's definitely improved my opinion of the Auchentoshan brand. And when it comes to triple distilled single malts, I don't know if I can necessarily taste the benefit in the spirit itself, but it is quite smooth. So that is one of the defining characters of a triple distilled spirit. So yeah, it's nice enough, but I probably won't be buying a bottle anytime soon. Stauncher.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.